Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Shampoo, and I want to go ahead and do a little rant about an anime. Before I start this real quick, I want to say, y'all know that I do that best of anime series, which I definitely am gonna keep doing. Just that I want to do those a certain way, and right now I can't really use a green screen and stuff. Don't really have the room for it and everything. This series will definitely be added to that, but I also want to have like another series where I just basically kind of rant about recent things that I have seen. And basically the anime that I'm gonna be talking about now is called Clannad. Okay. All right. Now, before I seen this series, I've heard about it for a long time. All right, I heard about it for years. You know what I'm saying? I've heard about this series and another series called Clannad. Whenever I hear from one, they always like, "Oh, have you seen Clannad?" I'm like, "Oh, I've seen Clannad. Oh, have you seen Clannad?" It's always hand in hand. I always see them. I actually seen the older version of Clannad. I haven't seen the 2006 version of Clannad. I remember somebody asked me in comments of one of the videos I made, have I seen, which one I seen, and I thought the one I seen was the '06 one, but it wasn't. So I'm gonna go back and I'm actually watch the '06 one. But anyways, Clannad is basically a romantic drama, anime series. It's also a slice of life, I would say, and it's before I say anything else, I'll say everything that's good about it. First of all, it's great. It is really good. It is really good. Now, but beyond that, I really can't say anything else, because to me, I think that it had too many things that were working against it, and I'm about to get into that. Just for me personally, I just thought it was. It is great. I like this shit a lot, man. I think it's really damn good. It's one of the best animes I've seen of that genre, but it's not one of the best animes I've seen. Rumbling Hearts is one of the best animes I've seen. That shit breaks genre walls like, blah, get off me, son, because that shit was just beast. This, it was beast, but it took too long to get beast. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, the first season, all right? All the first season is, honestly, the whole first season, all it is, just like oh boy PSN Blood Raid said, it is nothing but a build-up to After Story. It just leads up to After Story. But at the same time, it should have been better than what it was. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I fell asleep so many times trying to get through season 1. So many times. There was a certain story arc that happened in the first season that actually started getting me interested in it. It started getting me intrigued about watching the show. And that was I believe her name was Kotomi. She was the chick that I guess her parents left out of town to go to some type of convention or something. Her dad was writing a thesis, and I guess, something happened to them. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not. For certain people that haven't seen it. And from that story arc through the rest of the season, it actually started getting pretty good. But at the same time, it was too little too late. It was like, damn, man, like... Like, come on, I just wish the whole thing was just as solid as that, section of the season was. But then, but at the same time, going into watching this series, I knew that everybody really when they talked about Clannad, they really boasted about After Story. I've heard it from several people. Like, After Story is what really makes it, what it is. So I'm like, okay, that's what's up. And the first season of Clannad, and this is like the real thing about it that kind of makes me want to downplay this thing a little bit, is because they put you through that whole first season that is just, honestly, it's okay. Like, it's I guess the best word to use is like what Blood Ray told me one time. He was like, it's decent. You know, like it's okay. But then you get into After Story. Now, After Story is 10 times better than the first season. After Story is the second season, of course, but it's 10 times better than the first season. But at the same time, there was still just like a small little issue that I had with it. First of all, it started off great. It starts off beautifully. Like, it starts off like funny and everything. Like, it showed more focus on one of the true main characters of the show. Showed a little bit more about him and his sister and all this shit. And it was good. It was cool. And like I said, also it was funny. Like, the part, like, there was some parts like he was shivering and shit. Like when he was doing that fake date with what's that chick's name, Nasai or whatever, with fucking Nagisa's mom and shit. And like that shit was funny. You know, certain parts were hilarious, especially this one part. She threw the book. She just came out of the cut, just launched this fucking book at this motherfucker's face. This motherfucker did a flip or some shit. She came, just kicked the shit out of him. That shit was funny as hell. But after that story arc with him, I believe his name was Tsunohara, Yohei Tsunohara, I believe his name. And after his story arc, the very beginning of After Story, they switched it up and I believe her name was Masai, and then they did another one with, I forgot her name, and that's how attached I was to those characters. There was no attachment really. I remember Masai because I think she was a little bit more in there than the other chick, but they did a little story arc presentation with her, basically kind of showing a little backstory with her, and it was cool. I mean, I'm not saying that it was bad. It was good. But then they showed right after that they showed another story arc with the other girl. I forgot her name though, but she's a chick that's always with the gang members and everything like that. She's always helping them out, healing them up and stuff. Now the problem that I have with these episodes is not the fact that they were done badly or great or well or whatever. I mean, it was good, it was fun. But the problem is, I had no connection with these characters. The entire first season, okay, yeah, you've seen them, but honestly, they were like cameos. It's like you've seen them, they talked to them extremely briefly, and then they were gone. You know, there was no real connection there whatsoever. And especially in this type of show, this type of genre of anything, it could be a movie, anime, whatever. Like, there needs to be that character development within them before you just force feed me what they did in After Story. You know, there really does. So it's like, and I understood why they did what they did, because they wanted to shed more light on these characters, and I get that. I completely get it. But at the same time, it was too abrupt and it was too fast. It was just like, okay, you know what, we never really showed too much of them, so take this, take that, let's go. that's how it felt. Like, when it came to their two story arcs and After Story, it just felt like I was watching something. I was watching something to watch it. But then as soon as those several episodes were done, that's when I felt that it started getting great. Like, it started getting what people have been saying this show is all about. You know, like, it was really fucking good after that. I mean, I'm not gonna say, you know, what happens and all this shit, but it really, you know, shined through at that point from then to the rest of the season. And I greatly enjoyed it. You know, and I thought it was great. It was definitely great. I would highly recommend people watch Clannad, without a doubt. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, it's like you can't say. I mean, you can say that, okay, After Story is great and Clannad is okay, but I mean, honestly, it's one whole entertainment medium. You know, it's one whole piece of entertainment. The thing as a whole is great, but you know, that whole first season, I just wish it was better. Honestly, I just wish it was better. And that's what kind of just leaves me with this kind of feeling that you know, I liked it really good, but I've seen better type of stuff. You know, that's what kind of leaves me with it. The same thing that I say about Death Note. Death Note had the opportunity to be like just one of the best animes, period. It really did. But the problem is that the first season was outstanding. The second season was a fucking letdown. I can't say Death Note is fucking amazing, the one, you know, just like the best shit ever and all this shit, and just say, okay, but look, watch just from this episode to this episode, don't watch everything else. You know, I can't do that. You gotta watch the whole thing. It's just how it is. Because when they started introducing M and N and shit, it just kind of went downhill. You know? But it's still, Death Note is still a great show though. Don't get me wrong. Excellent fucking show. Excellent show. As a whole, it is excellent. But at the same time, it sucks that those negatives kind of downplay it some. And it's the same thing with Clannad. But Clannad's situation is that it was an entire season. It was just like, oh my god, man. Like, but like I said, there was a short portion of the first season that really kind of interested me and intrigued me and made me want to watch more. And then After Story was definitely great. But it just sucks that I had to go through that first season, that, you know, that decent season. And I understand it's just kind of a build-up. I get that. But at the same time, do you know how much time that is? You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm watching a fucking 2-hour movie. You know, I'm watching an entire fucking series. You know, I mean, it should have been better than what it was, as far as first season goes. But all in all, like I said, man, I think it's great. I'll even say that it is excellent. It's just that it does have faults to it, without a doubt. And it just sucks, and everything has faults to it, but it just sucks that these faults that happen with this series are that big. You know, I mean, that entire first season, I mean, I could see if it was a few episodes or something or whatever, but damn. You know, honestly, with After Story, what I felt that they should have did with, I'm just talking about season 2, After Story, I felt that they should have got rid of the 2 story arcs I was talking about before, Misai and the other chick, or whatever it was, and filled that with characters that you were attached to already, that you were really kind of engrossed in already by seeing the entire first season. They could have put Tomoya in there, you know what I'm saying? They could have put another character in there. You know, kind of went deeper with them in those instances, but they didn't. They decided to you know, go a little bit deeper with characters that you kind of just seen, or you know, that you kind of, you know, that the actual main cast really kind of conversated with here and there and shit like that. I mean, like I said, which is fine. Like I said, it was pulled off good and shit, but at the same time, man, I just wish that it would have been done a little differently with that, because when it got to those episodes, like I said, it just felt like I was just kind of watching something, you know. But it is what it is, and the thing is that I love that type of genre. Period. I love all genres and any type of entertainment, you know. But and I think a little portion of it is that you ever get kind of hyped up about something, or you have very high anticipations for something that doesn't meet those. I think that's kind of what happened here. You know, I've been told about it for so long, and you know, everybody, you know, there's been not everybody, I'm not going to say everybody. I have talked to some people that said exactly what I'm saying now, in a way that it was good or it was great, but it's not as good as, you know. But I kind of had very high expectations for it, and it somewhat met them, but not fully. And it's mainly because of that first season. Honestly, it's mainly because of that first season, really. Other than that, it was great. It was outstanding. Like I loved the last like section of After Story. I thought that shit was great. I really thought that shit was great. After Story as a whole is a beast, anyway. But it just sucks that, you know, if you recommend it to somebody, you gotta be like, hey, watch Clannad, but After Story is the shit. But you gotta go through the whole season, first season, you know. Like, well, you could just watch After Story. And the thing is that if you did that, man, I mean, come on, that's not being true to the actual, you know, entertainment piece. It really isn't. Don't tell somebody just to watch After Story. Alright? It just wouldn't be right. You gotta get to know the characters a little bit more and everything. And that's the other thing too, is because when I was watching this also plays into a little. This is gonna be the last thing I say. Is that when I was watching season 1, it was so kind of dull and dry to me that it took me longer to actually get into what I was really watching. You know, because I was watching it the whole time for the anticipation of waiting for this thing to get great. You know, so it took me a lot longer to get kind of attached to these characters. And then, like I said before, when it hit that Katomi, like I said, I believe that's her name. Don't quote me on that. I might be getting fucked up with that. It started getting interesting, intriguing, just got to get better to the point that, like, then I started feeling like I was actually a part of what's going on in this story. And then that just kind of led into After Story and such. But like I said, it's just too bad it took too long to do that. And at the same time, when it started getting better in the first season of Clannad, it still wasn't like great. You know what I'm saying? It was good. And it somewhat made up for the previous stuff that was happening in the first season. But alright, y'all, that's pretty much it, and I'll holler at y'all later. Thanks for watching. Shampoo. Deuces.